What up, y'all? It's your boy Infamous been coming for welcome back. The Sinners movie? Bro, the Sinners movie gotta be like one of the best movies in 2025, man. It stars Michael B. Jordan, and it was directed by Ryan Coogler, the same Ryan Coogler that gave us the Black Panther movies and the Creed movies, man. Ryan Coogler has actually outdid himself, man, at this point. And at this point, Jordan Peele got competition. Like, share, and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, check me on DNR, links to everything is down below. And guys, if you guys want to get my content before like it hits YouTube, head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description down below. Let's speak. We got a little narration about like how many different cultures throughout history have told stories about people who has a gift that could sing so good that they could summon spirits from the past and the future, being the bridge of life and death. And it was also said that like it can like summon like evil spirits as well. The year was 1932 in Mississippi, Clarksdale. See a guy driving like to a church in a car. The guy had scars on his face and like a busted guitar in his hand. His name is Sammy. Some people call him Preacher Boy. He went to that church and everyone was shocked to see him like this. His dad, the preacher, he's like telling everybody that we like should not show mercy to people who sin. And he came to his dad. His dad told him that, hey, I want you to promise me for this whole congregation that you leave like the sinning blues away. And he told him to put the guitar down, but he doesn't. And he just turned around and it looks like he was leaving. Then we cut to like a day earlier, like what happened that night. Sammy was a sharecropper that just got done finishing his quotas, and he just like got done like, you know, working all this stuff. He was like going to his mom, you know, showing love, showing affection a little bit. And like he went to like go get his clothes. Then we were introduced to Smoke and Stack. Smoke and Stack were twin brothers that just like came back from Chicago. They were born and raised in Clarksdale, Mississippi back then, and pretty much like they just gotten some money, and they were part of like some criminal organization. Also, they were veterans of World War I. They were waiting for like a guy to like show up and like show them around like that little building that they're trying to buy to like, you know, like get that juke. The guy showed up and he was a racist dude, man. The guy was asking like, hey, like what are you guys really gonna do with the place? And like Smoke noticed that like the floors recently been cleaned, but the guy like spit on it, and they were about to fight for a minute. Twins paid off the dude and like told like the racist dude that, hey, if we see any of your clan buddies, like we're gonna kill them where they stand. And we cut to Sammy like on his way to like the church where his dad is right now, and pretty much like he walked to the church and he saw that guitar that his dad like brought over there. His dad wanted like Sammy to play during the sermon tomorrow morning, and he told him to like read from like a specific Bible verse. And Sammy like told his dad like, hey, I actually got somewhere else to be, and like he told him like, you want to be out there with the drunkards, the sinners out there. Sammy pointed out the fact that he worked all the time and he just wanted to be free from this just for one night. The Smoke and Stack pretty much showed up and we're about to pick Sammy up. Sammy is actually their cousin, and like Sammy's dad is their uncle. Before Sammy left, his dad told him that, hey, if you keep dancing with the devil, it'll follow you home. Sammy went with the twins, and pretty much like they were catching up. They were like driving to like this abandoned like road somewhere, and pretty much like the twins had like a truck full of booze. The twins were like debating whether like to like open like the juke joint up tonight or like wait a little while and plan things out a little bit. Jack wanted to like open up tonight. Smoke wanted to like wait a little while to plan things out a little bit. They decided to set up tonight, and pretty much like they come up with a plan. They split into two teams, you know, like gather like some of the friends, the people they know, have them set up the juke joint. Smoke went by himself with the like the booze truck, and Sammy went with like Stack. Smoke drove into town, and he pretty much like paid like a little girl to like stay in his truck and like conquer their trouble. Then we meet Bo Chow. Bo Chow is the husband to Grace Chow. The grocery store owners, one runs a black grocery store and the other runs a white grocery store. Bo and Smoke pretty much were catching up a little bit, and they were talking. Then the little girl like punked the trunk, and then like Smoke went outside and shot the dude, but turns out he knew the dude, and he also shot like another dude. He went back to the store and told like Bo everything about like how they're gonna like set up the juke joint tonight. They kind of like need them to like patch them up. The guy they shot, and also like bring like some food there too, and also asked if like Grace was down to like make a sign for them. Bo sent his daughter to get Grace, and Grace came in. Smoke and Grace were negotiating about like the price for like the sign and the menu, and Grace agrees. Alright, trying to speed things up. Jack and Sammy like went to like the train station to like get this dude named Nova Slim. He's an old man, he was drunk, and pretty much like he did not like want to go, but like Stack pretty much persuaded him to like go because they're gonna like give him all the strength he wants. And eventually like we kind of got introduced to like Jack's girlfriend Mary. Her mom recently died and she left him because he left. Sam and Steph went to like go see Cornbread, see if he can like guard the door. Eventually like we meet up with like Smoke and we both they found out that he was married before and he had a kid with his wife. His wife's name is Annie. She's like some voodoo expert or something. And well, their kid died like very young. Smoke came to offer like a spot at the juke joint, cooking for them. And he agrees to come down there, and also like everybody was getting ready for the night. Everyone's getting ready to like head to the juke joint. Out in the middle of nowhere, we kind of got introduced to Bert and Jones. Bert and Jones, this couple that live around in the house somewhere, and also their clan. And then we got introduced to Remick. Remick's a vampire on the run from the Choctaw Nation. The Choctaw Nation was trying to kill him. Remick was knocking on the door, beating on the door. Pretty much they answered and pretty much let them in. The Choctaw showed up at their house and pretty much like warned them that, hey, has there anyone that like showed up recently? Because well, they didn't like tell them that there was vampire news, but they warned them to like not let anyone in. The Choctaws were pretty much left. Remick already infected Bert and Joan and now they're vampires. After the juke joint, everyone's like having a good time singing and dancing. Smoke kind of like had to like talk to Annie and Steph in private, telling them, hey, like we really need to get real money because if we don't, like those whole business is gonna be shut down real fast. Then Perlene showed up, and so was Annie. Sammy pulled out his guitar and pretty much started singing. He was singing so good to the point where some of the spirits in the past from the future as well. This also attracted Remick to like go to the juke joint. Remick went to the juke joint and probably like tried to like convince everybody to like let him in, but like everyone was not buying it. So Remick and the other two vampires already left. Mary went out of the juke joint and to like see if they actually do got money. But Mary ended up being like first of a vampire. Got led into the juke joint and pretty much like affected Stack. They both left the juke joint and what was it? Everyone's like fighting the vampires. Smoke and Sammy were the only ones left. They managed to defeat Remick. Sammy went back to the church and like at the beginning of the movie, covered with scars and a broken guitar. And Smoke pretty much like ended up like killing a bunch of Klansmen. But he ended up like getting shot and died. But he ended up reunited with Annie and her kid in the afterlife. And that was the end of the movie. Bro, Ryan Coogler has really outdone himself in this movie, man. This movie does not like make Michael B. Jordan. Okay, I mean I know that Michael B. Jordan is like a household name now. I'm just saying, bro, at this point, he's become an international superstar at this point. If this movie does not make an international superstar, I'm just gonna go crazy, man. It's like, bro, you gotta give Michael B. Jordan his flowers here. I know that not just him, but everybody else in the cast as well. They really did a good job. Dude, I'm not gonna be surprised that like this movie is gonna be like nominated for the Oscars. What I like about like the movie is like their take on vampirism. Not only like you're infected by like like being turned into a vampire, but you're also like sharing a hive mind with the other vampires as well. Because like in the movie, it's explicitly stated, Remick pretty much like said it himself. Hey, like the moment you become a vampire, you pretty much join this little hive mind, and you practically know like everything about the person you infected or whoever was infected along with you. So yeah, that's pretty wild though. And it's no that again, a very interesting take on vampirism itself. And I like how like Ryan Coogler kind of like uses vampires as like a metaphor for white supremacy and like how it affects like other people. Like for example, like with Remick, the Irish vampire, like he pretty much like played into like Joan and Bert, the clan couple's like, racist tendencies because given the fact they're in the clan, he pretty much used like their racial bias against like the Choctaw Nation to like let them like to convince them to like let them in. But in the end, like it ended up being their downfall. I mean, it's obvious like back then they probably were extremely poor, probably like very uneducated. White supremacy pretty much like thrives and survives off people like being ignorant, specifically like let's say working class white folks that are like again working class and not get educated. They definitely thrive compared to upon like these types of people. I mean, it kind of like shows like the type of tactics that like racist organizations pretty much use. Go after like the less educated and the less financially well off to join your ranks. Because again, all they have to do is just say, hey, the reason why you're impoverished is because of black people. And boom, you pretty much like open the door and you pretty much join your racist organization. If that makes sense. Ryan Coogler has also really done his homework on the Mississippi Delta. He's really done his homework on this. Because like often, I mean, normally when we think about like Chinese Americans like coming like to the United States, you normally think that they were well, it's not always talked about, like, how, like, they own grocery stores. I mean, normally, like, at least from what I can remember, like, Chinese Americans came here to, like, build the railroads up, like, in the late 1800s, I think. This movie, like, kind of, like, shattered that kind of, well, I mean, I guess kind of, like, allude to, like, more than just, like, them just, like, showing up and, like, building up the railroads. Turns out, like, there were some, like, there was, like, a few populations of Asian Americans at that time, like, not just, like, not in Mississippi, but also, like, throughout the United States. From what I know, like, after, like, the whole Civil War thing was over, and, like, they kind of, like, you know, like, get black people to pick on so much, they try to, like, get, like, people from China to come here and do it, but they pretty much, like, open their own grocery stores in both black areas and white areas as well. The way that their daughter, Grace, just even, like, walk out of, like, the black store and like go into the white store like so easily without like you know like no scares or judgment for white people. I actually like watched that scene like multiple different times to see like if like any like the white background actors like reacted to the fact that Grace is like an Asian person going from the black side to the white side. I mean, bro, I could not be able to find like the moment in there. And again, like it definitely like is a good like metaphor for like how Asians specifically back then were viewed as like kind of like the bridge between the black world the white world at the time. Going Grace's characters, like they definitely like embody or I guess symbolize like kind of like the love-hate relationship that like the black community have with the Asian community, with Bo representing like the positive relationship while Grace represents the negative. When like Smoke came in to like go see Bo, bro, like they pretty much like opened like they like Bo welcomed him with like open arms. They were like they practically like interacted like they were freaking brothers and stuff. Well, Grace on the other hand, she like just sees like the monetary value of like the whole Smoke and Scott thing in the first place, and the way that she was talking the whole time, it doesn't seem like she was like eager to see him or like say like, hey buddy, it's been a good minute. Like it seemed, I'm just saying the way that Grace interacted with Smoke, it was like very cold and very businesslike, which kind of, I mean, in real life and historically in the United States, that I mean, that's my way of understanding like the whole like black and Asian kind of like I guess like feud or somewhat conflict, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna talk about like that scene where like Smoke like shot two dudes that were trying to rob his truck. One of the dudes mentioned the fact that like the twins were working for Al Capone this whole time. And given the fact that Al Capone did not get arrested until like the 1940s, so there's like possibility that like they could have like worked with Al Capone or like actually like met him for real. And this pretty much opens the possibility of like a prequel film about like Smoking Steph's time in Chicago. I'm just saying like there's so many like possibilities here. I'm just saying that would make a good movie though. And only that, there's so many storylines and so many like questions that haven't been like never been answered. Like, what's the deal with the Native American / Choctaw Nation vampire hunters? I would definitely like want to watch a movie about like the Native American vampire hunters, man. Not only that though, we can also like, I'm just saying like if they ever do like prequel films, they definitely need to make a movie about Remick. Like, how did he become a vampire? Who bit him? And like, how long has he really been alive for? I know that it was, I mean, it was mentioned by Remick that he had a wife and kind of like he pretty much like left her behind. I mean, I definitely want to see a movie about that. Like, Remick gotta be like one of the best. Like, I guess I don't really like watch horror movies like that. But I guess like ever since I watched this movie, I'm starting to become a fan. But going back to Remick, man, Remick gotta be like the best villain out there, man. On guard, bro. On guard. You gotta be like, bro. This dude is very charismatic, and know that Remick pretty much possessed the traits of a cult leader. I'm just saying the way that he was leading the whole vampire squad, you know, Rocky Road to Dublin, like you know, dance sequence and singing. Honestly though, bro, the way that like everyone was singing and dancing, bro, it feels like surrounding him while he's the only one in the center. It definitely like gives off like very cultish vibes to me. I mean, from what I know about the Rocky Road to Dublin song, I mean it was an old like Irish song that was sung I think at least okay. I mean, okay, if anyone that's Irish is possibly like watching this video right now, correct me if I'm wrong, like down in the comments down below, alright? I mean, the Rocky Road to Dublin song, bro, they're gotta be, bro, it's been like blowing up all over TikTok, man. You know that, you can get to see like everybody on TikTok, like everybody in the black on TikTok doing a bunch of river dances. Okay, at this point, I mean, after like listening to the song fully on YouTube, bro, it made me want to do the river dance. I gotta learn that river dance there. But you gotta admit, it is a catchy tune. One of the most historically accurate things in this film was like the whole chain gang scene. Back in the day, prisons operated on like a chain gang system where like you were chained by your leg to like another prisoner and they were forced to like do manual labor. That was like the most accurate like thing in that movie, man. That was real. One of the songs like vibes from the movie was like when like was there at the juke joint where Sam was like singing his tune, bro. Bro, that song was like so, bro, that song was fire, man. I mean, the whole scene where like Sammy like summoned the ancestors from the past and from the future, bro, that was definitely like a good homage to all the other genres of Black American like music that's been created over the years. It's been confirmed already that like the inspiration behind Sammy's character was based on this dude named Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson was a blues artist back in the 30s, and legend has it that he met the devil at the crossroad and kind of like sold his soul to the devil to become like the best like blues like singer that ever existed. I mean, like you can obviously, it's not that like I highly doubt that many. Well, there's some people that like. I'm just saying, if you have Gen X parents, Boomer parents, they probably like know who like Robert Johnson was at least, or at least heard his name at some point. There was a Kevin Hart like Black History Month special where pretty much he did talk about Robert Johnson and about like like him meeting the devil and stuff. Again, it's on Netflix though, and I like kind of like the movie kind of like incorporate that kind of legend into like the movie because again like Remick throughout like most of the movies, specifically like whenever we find out that he's a vampire and stuff, like bro. They always refer to him as the devil, which, again, this is very ironic though. Another thing that the vampires also, like, represent, vampires kind of represent, like, how, like, specifically how mainstream American culture kind of, like, steals from African American culture, because jazz music has been, like, I'm just saying, like, historically speaking, jazz music that has been like heard around the world, not just jazz music, rock and roll music, hip hop, country, all these different music genres that like originate in the United States. Some of them have its origins in African American culture. Like for example, Elvis, for example. Elvis was like a huge fan of many different like black artists that like were other rock and roll stars during that time. For example, if you look up like the first rock and roll star, it would be Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry was like one of the original like old school like rock and roll stars before Elvis was like even famous though. There was like a bunch of like multiple like post-credit scenes like after like the first movie like ended though. The first one was like where like we catch up with Sammy and he's an old man now in the 90s. And he kind of got visited by Marion Stark. Marion Stark pretty much like got out of there before like the other vampires died. Jack made a promise to Smoke to like let Sammy like grow old and like live his life. Jack pretty much offers Sammy like a chance to be a vampire and like become immortal and like live forever. But Sammy kind of declined the offer. And what that kind of like symbolizes is like again like he could have taken the easy road and live forever, and pretty much become immortal. But I'm just saying through Sammy's career and all that stuff, he pretty much made himself immortal, man. Because even though he will die, his music will live on and live forever. And that was like a beautiful scene though. That really was a good scene. And the other was when Sammy was still at the church, and he was like looking at someone that showed up. I don't know who it was. But some people speculated that it could be the devil. After all, he was based on Robert Johnson, or at least inspired by him. So it would not be that much surprising though. There's so many religious and spiritual elements in this movie because like again, once upon a time like blues music used to be considered like something that was like satanic or devil music. Which again, like it kind of attracted Remick and the vampires in the first place. Okay, the scene where Smoke like take out like all the clan, bro, that was wicked insane, man. That was like wicked insane, man. You know that he had the BAR? Okay, in case you don't know what the BAR was. BAR was like the American like machine gun that was used during World War I. It really wasn't surprising, honestly though, because I'm just saying like given the fact that like it's been hinted that they've been like went for World War I, and the fact that they were Harlem Hellfighters. I actually did a video on a guy named Henry Johnson who was like a soldier during World War I. He managed to took out like a bunch of German soldiers while being seriously injured and all that stuff. Fun fact, the Atomic Gun was originally meant for World War I in the first place, but it never saw action in World War I. The boy gotta go. There's so much like stuff I want to like talk about like with the Sinners movie. Like the boy's on a tight deadline. The boy's graduating this year. I'm finally graduating college this year. So yeah, the boy's on a tick-tick and a tick-tock. So yeah, the boy gotta go. Honestly though, this movie made me more proud to be black. Now more than ever. If you guys want to like support my channel and know that I get my videos before like they end up on YouTube, over to my Patreon page, the link in the description. And guys, I'm not a historian, so you guys gotta check out these facts for yourself. And Injury Boy out.